Now, policymakers say there's still time to tackle global warming. The International Energy Agency believes the growth in electric vehicles and solar power is on track to meet 2050 net zero targets. But the agency wants more green investment and cooperation between nations. Scientists agree that limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius is essential. Christoph Bertram is an associate professor at the University of Maryland's Center for Global Sustainability. And earlier I asked him whether this report is just wishful thinking.
No, the IEA makes clear that we are really in a dire situation in the sense that we haven't made use of the COVID situation where emissions declined, but instead we have seen 2 years of increasing emissions afterward. And that there really now is no time to lose to kind of turn that around. But they say that at the same time, there is kind of the bright spot in that we have developed some technologies that we need for the decarbonization and the transformation faster than we expected. And one of the examples is electric vehicles. The batteries that are essential for these vehicles have become much cheaper and faster so than we anticipated. And that means that by now we really see rapid growth of EVs in all major markets, including in the US. In China and Germany, for example, there were months now with kind of more than a third of new sales being electric. And the same is actually true if you look at sub-markets in the US like California.
Now, we also heard about an increase in solar, but did nuclear energy feature in this report?
Well, absolutely. I mean, like the IEA looks at all options for kind of energy provision. Kind of last year, we kind of saw kind of nuclear providing a bit less than 10% of global electricity demand. And the IEA expects this share to roughly stay the same in a kind of scenario that really meets 1.5. The reason why kind of like for the solar and wind, for example, they provided 12% last year. And the IEA really says kind of this is crucial to ramp that up, bringing up to 70% in 2050. And the reason is just economics. It's so much cheaper and so much faster to build kind of solar and wind that really this is the key issue going forward. Nuclear, kind of wherever we can have it, is obviously good to have because everything contributes, but it's clear that the priority is in scaling up solar and wind and then the grid and the batteries that are required to really have a stable system.
Sure, but given the geopolitical tensions like the war in Ukraine and the cost of living crisis, how can the international community work together to keep clean energy growth a major target here?
Yeah, I mean, this is a crucial point that we so far have seen kind of these kind of technologies that we really need for decarbonization, mostly growing kind of in China and then also the advanced economies. And what we need is to kind of also bring that growth to countries that can less afford it. And part of that that they are lacking is really that they face much higher costs of capital. So in order for them to kind of make such investments, they kind of go to the bank and pay interest rates of above 10%, which obviously makes the economics of these projects worse than kind of if they also had access to capital at kind of rates that we kind of see in Europe and the US and so forth. And but then kind of the IEA is very clear that in these markets also, if we manage to really bring these investments to these countries, energy prices can also be kind of actually like the expenditures could be decreased from current levels. And obviously kind of the kind of prices are also a key concern in the US, in the European Union. And for that, it's really important that we make sure that on this way to cleaner technologies, we kind of cooperate in a way that we don't put kind of too many hurdles through the industrial policy that we do and really make sure that trade still flows freely, but we have this cooperation and competition towards the top.
OK, thank you very much indeed for your insights. That's Christoph Bertram, the Associate Research Professor at the University of Maryland Center for Global Sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you.